Can I actually become an apostle of the Gentiles like Paul did? You might be wondering if it's possible for someone to change that drastically, to go from being a fervent persecutor of Christians to becoming one of the most influential figures in the early church. Let's dive into the incredible story of Saul, later known as Paul, and see how his life was transformed forever. Saul was a man on a mission, driven by his zeal for God and his desire to protect Judaism. He saw Christianity as a heresy. He was a Pharisee, a Hebrew of Hebrews, and he took his role as a guardian of the faith very seriously. His initial mission was to eradicate this new sect of Christians whom he saw as a threat. He believed that by persecuting them, he was actually doing God's will. As Saul continued on his path of persecution, he became increasingly ruthless, even going so far as to obtain letters from the high priest to arrest Christians in other cities. His actions were marked by a deep conviction that he was right and that the Christians were wrong. But little did he know, his life was about to take a dramatic turn. He was so convinced of his mission that he didn't even consider the possibility of being wrong. The events leading up to his transformation began on the road to Damascus, where he was traveling to persecute more Christians. It was there that a blinding light from heaven suddenly shone around him, and he fell to the ground. He heard a voice saying to him, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" It was Jesus speaking to him directly, and Saul was shaken to his core. The voice of Jesus was like nothing Saul had ever heard before. It was a voice that spoke directly to his heart, and it turned his world upside down. After his encounter with Jesus, Saul was left blind, and he had to be led into Damascus by the hand. It was there that he met Ananias, a disciple of Jesus, who was instructed by God to go to Saul and restore his sight. The encounter with Ananias marked the beginning of Saul's new life. As a follower of Jesus, he was baptized and he began to preach about Jesus in the synagogues, declaring that Jesus is the Son of God. His transformation was profound, and it marked a radical shift in his purpose. He was no longer a destroyer of the church, but a builder. As Saul, now known as Paul, began to preach and travel, his impact on the early church was immense. His past as a persecutor made his testimony even more powerful, as he could speak to both Jews and Gentiles about the transformative power of Jesus. He became known as the Apostle to the Gentiles, and his work shaped early Christianity in ways that are still felt today. So, what do you think about Paul's transformation? What aspect of his story resonates most with you? Let me know in the comments below. If you're interested in more historical and spiritual insights, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell.